Dave, remember, Donnie Schmidt, the points leader, scored no points in Moto number 1. Now, Parker, along with 3 other riders, Bobby Moore and Puzar, they're in a bunch in that second place position, and they have an opportunity to move up. And I think that's what's running through their mind. If Schmidt does not do well here, we're going to come out of this thing the victor. So they're going to just play it cool.
Michel Fanton of Italy is the 5th place man, rider number 10, and he's up here putting some pressure on Bader Manet. That is 4th and 5th spot as they work their way through lap traffic. The number 71 machine is Gary Michael of Canada. He is a lap down, and Fanton, who nobody in this country has ever seen before, is the guy who's turning in a pretty fair ride. Number 14, Jeff Stanton, up front and winging it, and headed for another checkered flag here. He'll have 2 under his belt, assuming that he can keep that Honda upright and cruise to the checkered flag. And I think at this point, the only thing that can befall Stanton would be his own error, and for him to have a lapse of concentration at this point would be very uncharacteristic.
Oh, indeed. Stanton is on cruise control at this point. He knows he has the win in the bag. The crowd is cheering him on. He's playing to the crowd just a little bit. He's going to milk this one. He's going to coast in. He's on the last lap, a couple more corners, and he gets the checkers.
Among the American riders, Stanton has been dominant in this country of late, winning national championships, winning Supercross championships, and now another step closer to winning the USGP. We'll take a look at the rundown. Good ride here for Bader Manet, but qualify this with the fact that several of the top guns were involved in a first turn crash, and Donnie Schmidt came back to finish 11th. Let's go to Bob Hanna with the race winner.
Jeff, not a very good start and some bad weather conditions. Obvious from the look on your face, you had to ride awful hard.
Yeah, no doubt. As you can tell, everybody's all messed up in the first turn, and I didn't get hit. I just had to stop because there's guys in front of me, and just kept picking it away once again and come up with that win.
3 motos today. You're not used to that. You're used to being able to assign some autographs now, and you've got to ride another one. Is that going to bum you out?
No, I'm in good enough physical condition. I'm not too worried about it. So just in good shape as anybody. They're going through as much pain as I am. I'll just make it hurt a little more.
Good luck in that next one. Hope you get a little better start.
Thanks.
Can Jeff Stanton sweep this USGP with 3 moto victories? A few thousand of these people would be willing to bet that he can. We'll be back to see if he can make it happen right after this. Today's 3rd moto will be an opportunity to see Donnie Schmidt in action. He injured his neck in practice today, missed the first moto, struggled in the second. The kid from Minnesota who grew up to be world champion. Art Ekman spent some time with him this morning.
It seems like a lot of people have hot streaks and then you're down for a while, and then you're up and then you're down, and I'm up right now. I'm on a bubble.
On a bubble he is. After a slow start, 6 moto wins in a row to take over the lead for the World Championship. And what a high it must be after being a promising youngster mixed up in a financial numbers game without a ride in his homeland. Europe became his professional savior.
I've been racing professional for 6 years, and I did it 1 year all by myself. And that, I think, was the year. It was 1989. I was a privateer. That was the year that it was made me strong, I think, and made me pull through.
Racing in Europe meant adjustments to a totally new lifestyle.
And you have to be really open-minded about a lot of things, the language barrier and some of the foods and things like that.
Already winning a 125 world title, the 250 crown would mean new contracts, more money and glory, but most of all,
for me, it's my satisfaction and not thinking about money or anything. It's just myself. It's, something in your life you look back at and see that number 1 plate on your wall, and you can tell your kids and grandkids about it.
With only 4 races left on the schedule and a 56-point lead, Donnie isn't that concerned about the short-term Americans competing here.
If they want to enter, that's fine. Let them run with us. As long as they just don't take somebody out, then, keep their nose clean, stay in their line. They don't have to knock anyone out to win the race.
The trail to success for Donnie began only after a great deal of persistence.
My dad has a cabin up in Minnesota, and my brother and his friend had little mini bikes, and they kind of competed against each other year after year by getting a bigger bike and a bigger bike and a bigger bike. And then, I started riding their old bikes, and it just grew from there. And finally I asked my dad if I could have a motocross bike, and he said no way, but I bugged and bugged for 2 more years, and finally got my first bike and raced. I finished last just about every race.
Donnie told us it's a good feeling being back home. He would have preferred racing in the United States, but now they just couldn't pay him what he's clearing on the other side of the Atlantic. Dave and Larry, back to you.
Coming into this race, Donnie Schmidt maintains his world championship point lead. He has lost ground today, but had a big lead coming in. ready for the third and final drop of the gate here at the 250 U.S. Grand Prix. They're underway. The black clouds continue to loom. The rain falling intermittently. Into the lead goes the former world champ Alessandro Puzar. The bad news for these cats is Jeff Stanton's got a great start. Took him 2 turns to get to the lead.
No dramatics in this one. I think Stanton said, you know, I've been running behind all day. I've been having mud flung in my face. I want no more. He went right. Color this one over, Dave. He's got to win unless something drastic happens and he ends up on the ground.
Oh, come on. Don't take all the excitement out of this. Maybe Puzar could beat him. Right. Bad chance. Alessandro Puzar, himself a former 125 and 250 world champ, number 3, giving up a big gap early. The rest of the field hammering through the mud. We had another big shower right before the drop of the gate here. So once again, they'll be battling the slop and the slime out there. And Stanton wants to get away from that in a hurry and build up the cushion early. Jeff Stanton taking command here, trying to become the undisputed king of Unadilla with a 3rd straight championship victory. Now, Donnie Schmidt has a good start. Schmidt has moved up to 3rd spot. He is around his teammate and into 3rd position. We'll be right back. They are teammates, and they have something else in common. In 1990, number 3, Alessandro Puzar, and number 75, Donnie Schmidt, each reigned as champion of the world. Schmidt in the 125 class, Puzar in 250. Now they are teammates, riding for Michele Rinaldi, the Italian, and they are in a pretty good struggle here, but ever further behind Jeff Stanton.
Well, I'll guarantee you this. Puzar is not about to move over and let Schmidt take over that number 1 position, even though Schmidt, his teammate, is leading the World Championship point standing. Puzar is in the number 2 spot. He's right behind Schmidt. Now, a good number of points back. I might throw that in. It's something like 40 or 50. But anything can happen in a moto when Puzar's not about to throw away a couple of points by saying, go ahead, son, I'll let you by.
There you see the interval from Stanton. Whoa! Puzar got her sideways. Been watching American dirt track racing on ESPN. Said, maybe I can do that, too. He just about eye-sighted himself into the nickel seat. And so the Minnesota star, Donnie Schmidt, takes over the runner-up spot and has really finally emerged today with the opportunity to strut his stuff. He didn't get a chance to show it in the first moto. I think it's remarkable, as hard as he crashed and as badly as he appeared to be hurt today, that Schmidt's able to race at all.
We saw him lying on the ambulance. He's saying to the guy, you got to get me back here by 12:30. And in the background, you can hear this guy saying, no way, no way, you ain't coming back here. Not only did he come back, he tried to get into the first moto. Of course, they kicked him out. Then he was involved in a crash in the second moto. It was on the opening lap, right in the first corner. Still worked all the way up to 11th, and now here he is running a strong second place behind Stanton. And I think that shows a lot of what Donnie Schmidt is made of. He's a determined young man.
There are also some reports circulating the pits about the drive from the hospital back to the racetrack. Word that perhaps Donnie Schmidt may have, on 1 or 2 occasions, actually exceeded the speed limit in his efforts to get back here and race today.
I find that hard to believe,
It's
Dave.
difficult for me to comprehend that he would do that. But Schmidt was determined to come back here and try to lock up some points, and he's riding very, very well. Obviously, the injury was a source of concern because it was his neck, but everything's working fine, and he's out there gassing it up and trying to catch Jeff Stanton. But I'm betting on the kid from Michigan in this one. Art Ekman has a report on what he says are some of the busiest guys out here today. Art?
To the untrained eye, all motorcycle tires look alike. But the busiest guys this year at Unadilla were those changing the rubber.
Because of the weather conditions prior to the event, normally we have a lot more rain coming into this event, plus the lack of practice yesterday. There's a lot more grass starting on the track at the start of the day, plus the promoter is watered very heavily, so the surface on top is really loose and very soft, and the slippery grass makes it feel extremely slippery to some of the guys. We start off with a pattern that's very open in the center, offers a real good bite into the loose, loamy surfaces, but as the track dries out and the sun beats on it all day long, we end up going to more of an intermediate pattern, which has a little less space between the rows, a little bit bigger block, and the whole idea is to put a little bit more rubber down on the hard, slippery rock surface, and that's where the guys can make up the most time.
All right, thank you very much, Art Ekman and Frank Stacy. American flags flying in the background. Jeff Stanton headed for a clean sweep at Unadilla. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this. Speed World coverage of the 250cc United States Grand Prix Motocross has been brought to you by Dodge, a division of the Chrysler Corporation. The undisputed king of Unadilla, got to be Jeff Stanton. He is a lap away from his third checkered flag of the day. A new format for World Championship racing with 3 short races. Stanton says he doesn't like it very much. I wonder if he'll change his tune.
Little known fact, 4 years ago, Jeff Stanton came here aboard a 125 just to see what this racetrack was all about. He whooped the field, killed some of the best 125 riders in the process. This guy loves and knows Unadilla.
And think of all the things that have happened since. He has become the undisputed king of Daytona, for example, and Supercross competition. Has recently won his 3rd Supercross title here on ESPN, and is also a former 250 and 500 national champion. He's won everything there is to win in American motocross.
And now he's going to make a clean sweep out of Unadilla. The fans love it. Look at this. Yeah, I don't know if it's Jeff Stanton so much as it is the fact that he's an American and he has cleaned the clocks of the Europeans. Which do you think it might be?
Well, I don't know, but I wonder what Bob Hanna's going to ask him down there. Hanna used to be top dog at this place, but I'll tell you one thing. One truth in racing is that you're only as good as your last race.
Hanna's going to get his ball card or his trading card out and say, look here, Jeff, I don't race anymore, but look what I got.
Stanton cruising around, one finger aloft. He is clearly number 1 here today. Behind him, Donnie Schmidt runs solidly in 2nd spot and will move a step closer to winning the World Championship here today. So it's been a great afternoon all around for the Americans. There is the final checkered flag. Let the celebration begin for the new king of Unadilla, Jeff Stanton. We'll go trackside to Bob Hurricane Hanna.
Jeff Stanton, new Supercross champ. You're riding a GP here with everybody in the world today. Doesn't look like you have a lot of competition out there.
Well, I mean, they were good. You can't knock them. They work as hard as anybody, but I had to do it the hard way a couple of motos, and that last moto was relatively easy. I just went out and got a good start and kind of cruised, but nothing like racing in the U.S.
Well, I don't know. Guys like Buzar and Everton might dispute that. They struggled a little bit today with the Americans. We'll run you on down through the top 10 from the 3rd leg, and then go back trackside to meet the world point leader, Donnie Schmidt.
Donnie Schmidt, one of the true great stories that come out of Unadilla this year, and what a wonderful, wonderful comeback, Donnie.
Yeah, it was all right. The track was really difficult today. I'm glad that nothing more serious was wrong with my neck. For precaution, I went in and got a check just to make sure. It's a smart thing. And came back, tried to regroup for the 2nd race, and I didn't get a very good start spot, so I got sideways on the start, crashed once in the first corner and once after. And this race was good from start to finish. I followed Alex and waited for a mistake and made my move.
And so, with 3 races remaining, Donnie Schmidt is well on his way to the World Championship. Bobby Moore and Trampus Parker could very well finish inside the top 5 in the final world standings. And with that, a final thought from Larry Myers.
Well, no major surprise here at Unadilla, Dave. The European riders, I think, still have a way to go to catch the Americans. Jeff Stanton was totally dominant, and I think that's what motocross is about today.
He was the class of the field here today as Dodge brings you the 250cc United States Grand Prix. It's been fun covering it along with Bob Hurricane Hanna, Art Ekman, and Larry Myers. I'm Dave Despain. So long, everyone.